It's all about the gear. I don't see anybody fighting over filmmaking techniques and storytelling and compositions. It's all just, I hate you because you use this. I hate you because you don't use that. I think the truth is it's easier for a lot of people to base their personality off gear and technology because maybe they don't have anything to say. So if you're starting to believe that maybe your camera is holding you back, it's not. It's no secret that our community has been consumed by tech heads. And I think at some point the line needs to be drawn. Are you a filmmaker, or are you just going to blame your camera?
I know a lot of you guys are going to say that's ironic, a YouTuber such as myself talking about being a filmmaker when all we do is talk about gear, right? The fact is, the only videos of mine that are the ones where I'm talking about gear. And anytime I practice some storytelling or actual filmmaking, people just don't show up. And it kind of just tanks on my channel. So you could say, that's part of my own doing, or, we could call it the snake eating its own tail. I've always had the urge to tell stories myself. My people are storytellers, so I guess it runs in my blood. I remember my first time that I went to my reservation by myself as an adult. I rode my rusty Triumph 12 hours from California into the middle of Arizona in the middle of summer, just to photograph my friend Amy Wan on the border. The fair was also that weekend where we have a rodeo and her pageant and some games. And that night I remember sitting around a fire with plum-skinned family sharing stories. I remember Amy saying, our people come from storytellers. It turned into a puff of gratitude. I remember watching the embers melt into the stars with the smell of corn husk creating a red haze and the fire reflecting off the laughter. To me, that's filmmaking. I didn't have a camera with me, but I experienced something in that moment. It was an overwhelming feeling of gratitude, as I just said. And I know in the future, that feeling and that moment and that image burning in my brain with the smells and the tones will forever stay with me and reflect in the art that I make, the films I make, the photographs I make. And the fact that I'm sharing that right now, and some people might think this is pretentious, some might get it, some might not, but this is filmmaking.
Okay.
I know people are constantly bickering on like, what kind of filmmaker are you? And then you got people like, you're not a filmmaker, you're just a YouTuber. The fact is, I'm out here trying to tell something that I'm very passionate about in a storytelling way. I'm putting in the effort to do some visual storytelling. I don't care what you want to call me. I am practicing filmmaking right now. You could think I am whoever you want to think. I'm treating this like my film school. A lot of the stuff that I shoot, if I ever get the blessing to shoot a feature film, you're gonna see some things aligned of being like, hey, I remember 5 years ago, Cam did this YouTube video and that's where that shot came from. And oh wow, that kind of looks like that, but just higher budget. People just like to talk. Human beings get bored and they express their opinions, and that's fine. That's all I'm doing right here, and that's totally okay. And at some point, we all gotta learn to stop caring. people are always going to be, comparing themselves with people above them and below them. It doesn't matter if you're not on big sets. It doesn't matter if you're on small sets. It doesn't matter if you're just starting. It doesn't matter if you've been in it for a decade and, your career hasn't gone too far. I'm just being blunt here. If you're practicing being a filmmaker, if you have a passion for it and you're trying, who gives a fuck what anybody is saying? Do what you want to do. Be a filmmaker. Keep practicing. Keep creating. We could talk about gear all we want, but I think as long as you're practicing the art of storytelling and capturing, you're good. Everything else is just noise. I just wanted to do something to kind of share some enlightenment on the whole filmmaking community and the YouTube space, really. Towards the end of this video, we'll actually go over how I shot this and my setups. But again, this isn't about the camera. And I know a lot of people want to refer to impostor syndrome, and I call bullshit on that. I think part of that is, having some self-awareness that you lack maybe confidence, as majority of human beings do, and also realizing you're not the best of the best. The best of the best probably don't even think they're the best of the best. They probably realize they have a lot to work on and they can always do better. So I don't subscribe to this whole imposter syndrome, discussion. To me, I just call it being self-aware and realizing you need to build your confidence. And I don't know, personally with me, how I build my confidence is I try to do better every time. I'm constantly trying to step up my own work. I'm constantly trying to improve myself. I'm constantly trying to improve the way I work on set. I constantly try to improve, my ideas and going bigger or going more subtle or going more intimate, going just, to the next level, whether it's storytelling or cinematography or whatever it is. So no, I'm not the most confident person in the room, but I can hold myself accountable to be better. So I forgot to put an SD card in the Fujifilm X Pro 1, so I'm not gonna be able to shoot with it out here, but the Leica M11 has like 256 gigabytes or something like that, internal space. And I forgot a memory card for it too, but I'll be able to shoot it still. That's clutch. Every camera company should be doing that, not just ones where expensive prices. Hey, what are you doing over here? So one thing that a lot of people like to complain about when it comes to YouTubers is, the fact that we have to do ad reads or do partnerships. The reality is you're either going to work for somebody and tell their stories, or you can work for yourself and tell your own stories. And that's part of the magic behind YouTube, is doing these partnerships allows me to create my own stories and tell my own stories and have full creative freedom. That's the biggest thing. YouTube's the only thing where, I could put trust within myself to tell my own story. And that's thanks to brands like audio.com. Yes, this is part of my ad read here. So audio.com is the site that I use where I get all the music that you've been hearing for this whole year pretty much. And they make it super easy with their AI tools called Link Match. With Link Match, I basically go into Spotify, I get one of my favorite songs or a song that I know is gonna fit my video perfectly. From there, I get the Spotify link, I put it into the Link Match tool, and then it goes and it populates a playlist with all these similar sounding songs. So this ad read isn't supposed to be insanely long, but honestly, previously in the past with clients and stuff, I would spend almost a full day alone just trying to find the perfect song for them. And now with this tool, I can easily just put it in there, and literally within seconds, I have all these tracks that are gonna work perfectly for what I need. So use the code CAM70 to get 7% off your first year. And they're looking out for all of us creatives with this. So link down description, use code CAM70. I think it's time. So Donna and I get home and I put this camera away. The light's gorgeous. Maybe I'll shoot one last thing here. We'll see. We forget what the gear's for. Everybody wants to have debates on what's better and what's this and what's that, and I prefer this. At the end of the day, I think the real question we should all be asking ourselves is, what are you going to do with the gear? Are you just collecting it? Are you just trying to be part of a community, which is fine? Or do you actually have something to say? Originally, I did this video because I was going to cover the Fujifilm X Pro 1 with Leica lenses, but I forgot an SD card, so that's pretty useless. But maybe it was a sign that I was supposed to make this video. But maybe it was just a sign for me to shut up about gear. And to talk about some filmmaking. And you know what? I'm happy I left my SD card. I was kind of excited to shoot with it, but yep, same old, same old. I think a lot of people are going to need to come to terms that the landscape is changing. YouTube's not just a place for, YouTubers. It's becoming a place for actual, filmmakers. And I think in the future, it's going to be dumb if people don't utilize this if they have stories to tell. Yep. I just want to show you guys how I'm doing at this super low budget solo filmmaker car setup here. The link in the description to this guy right here, but you can see real simple little 3-arm suction cup here. It's going up to a single arm into the Lumix S52X. We're in the Super 35 open gate 4x3 anamorphic mode with the Blazar Remus 35mm T 1.6 1.5x stretch with the Peter McKinnon Helix Madlock VND. One of the cleanest VNDs get out there right now, and it's also the most robust. I've taken chunks out of some of these and they never break. Pretty cool stuff. Such a simple setup. You get really cinematic looking shots, mainly because one, the camera's not moving, but everything around it is moving. That's a video I'll make in the future, just talking about how people are constantly thinking they need to move the camera to make it look cinematic instead of letting the camera sit there and worrying about what's in frame to make it cinematic. So that'll be another video down the road here soon. But yeah, this thing isn't even that expensive. I forgot what I paid for it, but I know it wasn't expensive. Something so simple just looks so amazing, and it honestly doesn't take that much effort. It takes less than 5 minutes to set it up here. You see, I'll put a link to all of this, but we have some car detailer and then a microfiber rag. That's just to clean off the dust and make sure the suction cups have a really good bite. I should probably have some strap down points on here, but I'm by myself. I'm not trying to do anything too fancy here, but you'll see the shot looks very fancy for what it is. This is a part about being a filmmaker. I know people want to argue about, are you this kind of filmmaker, that filmmaker? Like, we're just fucking filmmakers. That's how I see it. I'm making film, digital. I don't know. All right, guys, here is the other setup. So same thing, just attached straight to the car, shoot it through the window. I do have a little tie down strap just in case it came off. I'd rather damage my car than lose the whole camera and possibly damage someone else's car. We still got Donna up in the house. All right, guys, this is probably gonna be my last and final setup here. This isn't illegal at all. Nope, not at all. Not just something obstructing my field of vision here. But yeah, you can see, this whole video is kind of based around the Bronco, I guess, but yeah. Storytelling, y'all.